Hi there. I've got something to say to you about freedom. And so please just listen to what I'm saying about what I've written and feel what I say. All you need to hear is that you recognize what I'm saying. That what I write makes sense to you. You don't need to let me know, but you need to let yourself know. And it is not because of me that what I say gets through to you, but it is because of your openness, your sensitivity, your intelligence, that you say, this guy, he makes sense to me. I say what each of us should and could say. If you would say what you really wanted to say. To say what you really wanted to say is such a revolutionary action. Even though you are only saying it to yourself. Actually, I don't need you to tell me that your embodied language is true, because I know that already. I need you to go your own way with your embodied language, as that would really make a difference. Anything less wouldn't make any difference, as it is based on the fact that you are caving in to your usual disembodied language. There's nothing that should get your attention in disembodied language. But since we are all unconsciously constricted and limited by our disembodied language, we keep expressing it, and that is a distraction of our attention to anything that allows us to feel that our usual way of talking, our usual way of communicating is causing us enormous trouble. There's a truth to what we are saying, but this obvious reality is only revealed if we are free to say what we want to say. That is what freedom is. Freedom is the word which matters most in our interaction. It's very sad that we can't seem to give priority to our freedom when we speak, and that we insist that our so-called imprisonment or our inability to perceive what our freedom means is more important to us than the actual experience of what it is like to be free. We can drink from the nectar of freedom only if we hear what we say. There's no way in which we can miss what we hear. When we listen to ourselves, we hear the truth of our embodied language, which always reveals our language enlightenment. Once we hear the difference between our disembodied language and our embodied language, we will hear the beauty of our language enlightenment. Our language enlightenment isn't what anyone talks about, but it is what we, with our embodied language, can say and hear. It is very clear that no one has come to this, and we are the first ones to express this, as we are not waiting for anyone to approve what we are doing. We know what we are doing. Although it is evident to us, there's no understanding about what we are saying. This awareness protects us, and it comforts us, as it is the sad reality of our embodied language. It is a bitter pill, but we must acknowledge that this embodied language is our common way of interacting, and there is no embodied language to be had in our usual way of talking. We would like to believe there is this possibility for truth, for honesty, for openness, and for what really matters. But our embodied language shows us this just isn't true. Everything that is said that concerns who we are is everything that is said and that concerns who we really are is thrown out. It is rejected and it is forgotten. When we manage to engage in embodied language again, we remember what we had wanted to say. This realization is something which completely changes us. We have to act on what we say when we realize that we are free. And in spite of our fears, our inhibitions, and our reasons for not saying what we want to say, we say it anyway, and we liberate ourselves. It is such an emotional experience that we are free, in spite of our devastating history. At long last, we are ourselves, and our language has brought us to this magnificent experience. Nothing else could have made this possible. We are in awe that the words we speak are so tangible, so true to who we are. We experience how very different this is from our usual way of talking. It is our own discovery that this is possible. We want to know more because it is so exciting, so energizing, so revealing, and so meaningful. We could have never imagined that our behavior would change because we have found something more meaningful than what we were conditioned to believe. Our embodied language, it means our happiness, our purpose, our fulfillment of our destiny. Although it is hard to believe that we have really discovered the source of our lives, it is true, and all our doubts and questions dissolve. The basic issue here with embodied language is that we have found something which is irrefutable. Our truth with our embodied language is our language enlightenment, and there is nothing else that presents itself as an alternative. We have really come home to ourselves, as our embodied language shows us everything we were deprived of while we were still engaged in disembodied language. Obviously, we no longer wish to be without the results of our wonderful embodied language, and our disembodied language is simply outdated, troubled, and a no longer relevant version of ourselves. And we leave our disembodied language behind, and we confidently continue with our embodied language. The wind of change is affecting us, and we change because our perception of our language has changed. All of a sudden, it is possible for us to be peaceful, to be content, to be certain that we can be who we are and who we have always been. Our language enlightenment is extraordinary in that we overcome all our problems, but it is also quite simple and pragmatic, as it makes us speak in such a way that we become who we are, which makes us happy, relaxed, knowledgeable, and capable. Our embodied language brings us to our potential, and we thrive because we express our language enlightenment. I know you don't believe this, but I want you to consider it anyway. I write this and I say this because I know this, and I am sure you could know this too. I hope you will respond to this and let me know where you are. I know you don't understand this, and that is where you need to start. Please accept that I know something which you don't know anything about.